friends, 2 time zones, and a shared love of stories.
I'm Freya.
And I'm Jamie.
Bridging time zones 1 chapter at a time.
Welcome to Once Upon a Time Zone. Hello everyone, welcome back to Once Upon a Time Zone. In today's episode, we are going to do a fun little chat about the bookish things we are leaving in 2025. We are getting to the end of the year, so it's time to start thinking about some of those reading habits, those reader habits that have maybe been bugging us or we've been thinking about, and they're just some things that we don't want to continue into the new year. So yeah, we're just gonna have a fun little chat today.
I love doing these kind of videos. I love like resetting my reading goals for the year and kind of reflecting on the reads throughout the year and everything like that. I think it's really fun. And how are we in November? How are we getting close to the end of the year? Like, that is crazy.
I know. I keep like doing things and I'm like, this is the second last time I'm going to do this, like monthly things. Like for monthly TBRs, I'm like, this is my second last TBR of the year. And like, this is my second last wrap up of the year and stuff like that. So yeah, time flies.
It's crazy. It really does. But I think this will be a fun little episode.
I think so, yeah. But anyways, of course, we have to talk about our current reads. I do know what you're currently reading, but let everyone know. Freya, what are you currently reading?
Guys, I kept my word. I'm currently reading Words of Radiance by Sanderson. I feel like it was one of the last 2 episodes, I think, where I said that hopefully after finishing Warbreaker, I would go on to Words of Radiance. And oh my gosh, I was literally just ranting to Jamie about how much I am loving it so far. I'm 400 pages in, which sounds like a lot, but really it's only like 30% in. It's really not that much. But honestly, I'm not even mad about that at the moment. I am enjoying every single second. And again, I guess for those who don't know, I didn't even say, this is the second book to the Stormlight archive. And I am just having so much fun seeing our different characters. There's already been a few plot twists that I just didn't see coming. I just now know to never trust Sanderson. Like, you can just never trust him. I don't really have too much to say, to be honest, because I don't want to spoil anything, but oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I cannot wait. As soon as we finish this episode, I'm literally going to be getting onto the couch and reading it more because I am just so addicted to it.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to read more. Yeah, we were just talking about how the banter in this book too is just top tier, top notch, like the best banter I've ever seen come from Sanderson's keyboard, I guess. I was going to be like, pen, pencil? What do we write on these days?
It's crazy. So and also just like thinking about the time it takes for him to put a book like this together. In the beginning, like the little dedication was like talking about his son who was born when he started writing this book and was walking by the time he finished it or something like that. And it's just, I don't know, the thought of like the amount of years that it goes into this is absolutely crazy. I'd be curious to know how long it took him to write Words of Radiance, actually, because I think Wave Kings was 10 years. So I might do a little Google afterwards.
I mean, I guess because of the first book, a lot of it was probably like just thinking about the world, like building everything. And like it was probably on and off. But he seems to really pump out books real quick. So yeah,
and crazy good quality books.
Yeah, very good books. Yes, I don't know how.
Oh my gosh.
Like, how long does it take to write a 1,300-page book? Like, I don't know.
A long time, clearly.
A long time.
I think that's also like because we already know our world. I was saying this in my vlog, like we know our world, we know our characters. We're just kind of building on it now. I feel like that makes it so much less intimidating to read. Whereas in Way of Kings, I was paying attention to like every single little detail because I was just like, if I miss this, what if it's important later in the series or something like that? And I feel like with this one, I can kind of relax a little bit and just have fun. And we know all of our characters. So when we get introduced to a new character, it's not that overwhelming considering I'm getting a little bit more familiar with our cast. But yeah, what are you currently reading? I actually don't know this.
Yeah, so I feel like I've been reading a lot of top tier fantasies lately, which is wonderful, but I reached a point where I was like, Jamie, let's get back to real life and ground myself, which I think is needed sometimes. So I picked up a historical fiction. It's called The Vanishing Half by Bennett. I've heard a lot about this one, but we follow twins. They are Black and they live in a southern Black community, which it's a very interesting community because they kind of collectively try to be light-skinned. They sort of like in a way breed themselves to be lighter skinned because they want to be like closer to white, which is very interesting. When they're teenagers, they actually both run away. And as adults, one comes back. And then the other one at this point is sort of passing as white and living a very white life. Like she's married a white husband and she's like in a very white community. And then so it's a generational story where we follow kind of like the after effects of how that, I don't know, affects everyone down the line. It's a very interesting read. I really like it so far. I'm around halfway through. I thought it was going to be a bit more emotional, but it hasn't been too emotional for me lately. But it is a beautiful read, and I think the messaging in it is very strong. So I'm curious to see more about it as I keep reading.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. Very different to what you've been reading at the moment. You're so right.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, it has literally just started like, I'm actually pretty sure it just started hailing. So hopefully you guys can't hear that too much.
Ooh. Well, yeah,
I
that was me yesterday. We had the snowstorm yesterday and we also had hail. So I guess I sent it over your way.
You really did things. I'm meant to be warm right now. But
You're
no, that
welcome.
seriously sounds it seriously sounds really good. I have seen a lot about this as well. I feel like a lot of Christian Hannah lovers usually enjoy that. At least that's what I've seen, like
Yes.
people who read a lot of Christian Hannah. But yeah,
Yeah,
it sounds really interesting.
it does definitely feel like a Kirsten Hanna, where it's a historical fiction, but it doesn't feel like you're getting bogged down with historical facts. Because I feel like some historical fictions tend to read too, like, almost textbooky. Like, it's just
Yeah.
too much historical information, where this one is very much about the personal experiences and lives of people in these eras. So, yeah, I can
Yeah.
see, yeah, lots of similarities with Kristen Hanna writing.
Oh, I'm curious to know what you end up thinking of it as a whole.
I think it's good so far. It's reading as maybe like around a 4 star, but we'll see when we get to the
Okay.
end what I think.
Well, with that being said, should we jump into today's content?
Yep. Okay, I
You
can
wanna
start
go
with my
first?
first bookish
Yeah.
habit. My first one is I want to stop letting Goodreads determine if I want to buy a book or not. Because I have this silly thing where I look on Goodreads and I look at the rating. I try not to look at too many of the reviews. Like, I try not to read what people are actually saying about it too much, but I'll look at the rating, and if it's like under a 4 star, I will feel discouraged about picking it up. And I think like a couple episodes ago when we were talking about the books that the world hated and we loved, I realized like there are so many books that are some of my favorite books that are under a 4 star on Goodreads. So I was just kind of like, why am I letting that block me from reading some books that I would probably love or likely love? So yeah, I want to stop doing that. I want to stop letting overall ratings determine my like what books I pick up.
I think that is so right. Like, I will often do that, especially if it's a book that I haven't heard of before. I think sometimes if
Yeah.
it's a book that like somebody has recommended to me personally, and then I look up Goodreads and it's still like an average rating, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll still grab it. But when I like haven't heard of it and I'm in the store and I'll do a little Google of the book and it will come up with like an average 3 star rating, I'll be like, oh yeah, no, I don't think I'm gonna grab that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Like I just
no,
want
that makes
to
sense.
I want to put less power on that and more power on I guess like
Yeah.
what people and like who is saying certain things about certain books. Like, I don't know, judging people's opinions that I trust their book taste more than
Yeah.
I don't know, just overall reviews on Goodreads.
Yeah, I think it's a very smart idea, especially when they're like really highly, sorry, a lot of ratings, I guess, if that makes sense. I think that can often make it average out to look less when even if majority of those ratings were like above a 4 stars or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like everyone has such different opinions reading.
Yeah, or even like on the other side, sometimes I'll see a book on Goodreads that has very few ratings and it's a low rating.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, maybe it just didn't reach the audience that it needed to. And maybe I'm that audience. And like maybe I would rate it high, like A Song to Drown Rivers.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Like books like that just need more ratings and it'll probably like make the rating go up. Yeah, so that's my first one. I want to stop doing that.
I think it's a great goal, and it is kind of like conditioning your brain to stop doing it. It's really hard.
I know. Yeah, it's like and kind of on the same way, like on the other side, when you see a book that has such a high rating and then you have such high
Yep.
expectations for it, and sometimes it can work out really well where you're excited and it lives up to the hype and it's awesome, but then sometimes it can really negatively impact your reading experience when you have like such high hopes for a book and it was maybe a 4-star, but you feel so disappointed by it, like because it was a 4-star and not a 5-star, and like that's just so silly. We shouldn't do that to ourselves.
I know that is a great piggyback for me for my point as well. My first one is like talking about hype, and it's like wanting to get book recs from more niche environments rather than like the circulating hype. So getting book recs from like when you're in the bookstore and how they have staff recommendations with little labels and everything like
those
that.
are so cute.
Or and usually they end up being really good books when I do pick those staff recommendations up, and and especially when they say, if you loved like this book or something like that, then usually they're a really good pick for me. Or even just book browsing, honestly, I find so many recs like that. And again, as we said, kind of just going off creators I have very similar taste to, like just, rather than a book that's just everyone's reading, and then I'm like, I want to read it because everyone's reading and everyone's saying it's really good, and that's just kind of like a big opinion rather than like one solid, one person I trust or have similar taste to rather. So yeah, same, because I just feel like going in, there's been so many books this year that I've gone into that are just really hyped up at the moment and everyone's reading them, and I'm like, I want to be part of that. And then when I do read them, I'm just not part of it, and it makes me so sad.
When you're the outlier, you're like, but I don't feel the same.
Right? And then my entire For You page is already curated to the hype and like the good reviews of this book. So then I'm just like, what's wrong with me?
That's a sad moment. Have you ever done like the blind dates with a book?
I haven't, purely because the few times that like I've usually been able to pick the book pretty quickly. I would love to get some blind dates where they aren't kind of popular books, because I've read a lot of them. So yeah, usually I don't do them, but I would love to do some if I kind of knew that I wasn't going to have already read the book, because I'm always scared of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared of too. Like that's why I've never done one, because I'll read the little like hints on the front or whatever, and I'm like, I feel like this could be that book. And because they'll usually put tropes and stuff, and a lot of the time you can match those tropes to a book you've read, and it might not even be that book. It could just be something similar or like from like a similar subgenre. But yeah, I always get scared because it's like I feel like we have so many books that it's kind of like, obviously there are way more books than we have, but the chances are that like we might have that book already. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's kind of a bit of a risk to take, because like I feel like we're so careful with our book buying these days. Like, we're only going to buy the books we really want to be reading, because our physical TBRs are already quite big. So yeah, it's just always a little bit of a risk. I do wish I could just take that risk though and just read it. But I feel like, 90% of the time I probably will either own the book or have already read the book. Yeah. So yeah, it would be nice though. Yeah, that was my first one. So what is your next one?
Okay. I think we've talked a little bit about this one, but I don't want to continue series that I don't feel excited about. This one's a big one for me. I want to be more selective moving forward in the series that I continue, because I've always been the type of person that cannot DNF a book. And I think I will still continue to be that person. Like, I could totally put that on this list. Like, I'm going to stop continuing books I don't like. I know that's unrealistic. Like, let's be real. I'm going to finish the books that I start. I know I probably shouldn't, but I will. So something more realistic is that I just want to be more decisive on DNFing series, and I've started trying to do that. Like, I've been looking at the series I'm in the middle of and just being more discerning and being like, do I really need to continue the series, or can I save that time to read the series that I love, or even read more standalones or start new series that I could get excited about? So Yeah, I want to be more just like, if I am just average about a book in a series, I want to just be like, Jamie, it's okay to not continue. So we're going to take that energy moving forward into 2026.
Yeah, I think that's because I feel like a lot of the time when we're talking about series, you'll be like, yeah, I didn't love the second book, but pushing through.
I
And I
know.
feel like you do read so many series, so I think that is a good goal. Hopefully you stick to that goal. And DNFing series, I feel like that isn't as big a deal as DNFing a book. Like getting halfway through a book
Yes.
and DNFing it is very different, I think, or feels different.
Yeah, there are two that are like kind of on the chopping block right now in my mind. And the
Yeah.
first one is Metal Slinger / Light Wielder.
Oh, yeah.
Because in that one, I'm like,
Yep.
I want to see Rachel Schneider's vision. Like, I want to see
Yep.
her through because, like, I mean, I think everyone knows by now, like, my reaction to the end of Metal Slinger. Whew. That was a wild twist, but I want to see her try to like explain it and show us what she
Yep.
was trying to do there. So I want to give her a chance. And it's only a duology, I'm pretty sure. So like
Yep.
there's only one more. So that one I'm like on the fence about. And then the other one I'm on the fence about right now is actually Direbound because I think it was fun, but I'm also like looking at it's more looking at the series of the series. It's more looking at the list of the series that I want to start. I'm like, I kind of want to start all these, but I don't want to start them before I finish up more series. And I'm like, do I want
Yep.
to continue Direbound? Is it worth it? I don't know. I had fun reading it, but it wasn't my favorite. So like, do I care enough to continue? I don't know. We'll see. I'll make up my mind
Yeah.
before 2026.
Yeah, I think Direbound's one I've put on the DNF list for now.
Yeah.
You're right. Like there's so many series, and I feel like especially with romantasy series where there's only one book published at the moment, I feel
Yeah.
like there's a long list of them on like our reads, and Direbound just didn't give me anything different. Like I loved the Direwolves. I'll always love an animal companion, but I felt like the actual plot was very predictable.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And I feel like I'm just starting to kind of branch away from your typical romantasies unless I want, if I'm on a holiday or something like that, like you want something really easy and fun, like you're watching a TV show or something like that, then they're great. But when I'm wanting something with a little bit more depth, I feel like I'm just earing away from them, which is weird. I didn't really see that coming in 2025, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. Like the romantasies that I like now, I think are always ones that are more fantasy romance than romantasy.
Yeah.
Like either that or they're like multi-POV, like the ones that feel refreshing, something like Five Broken Blades or like Immortal Consequences
Yeah.
that kind of switch it up. So it's not the exact same story of like the enemies to lovers who did this to you, like, which I know can be
Yeah.
fun, but yeah, it's not something I feel so invested in these days.
Yeah, I think it's just when you're in the mood for it, it works. But when you're in the mood to be a little bit more intrigued in the book, like a little bit more addicted to the book, I usually want something a bit unique. A little bit, I'm not going to want to see the plot coming.
Yes, yeah, I want to be surprised. But
Yeah.
what's your next one?
This is such a niche one, but it is. But I don't want to buy fantasy series without researching them first because I have had so many series that I have bought and sometimes read without realizing that there's another series that comes before them. So obviously Dance of Thieves was an obvious one, but I recently bought, well, kind of recently, I think it was Iron and Embers. Yeah, Iron and Embers, and I was super excited about it. And then like my comment section was like, oh, by the way, there's a whole fantasy series that comes before this that I would highly recommend you read before jumping into this. And then I was like, great, so now I've just got this book that's going to be sitting on my TBR until I finally read the entire series before that. So I just need to do a little bit more research. Look, I would love if books were a little bit more obvious about the fact that they're an interconnected series.
Yes.
That would be a little bit helpful because especially when it comes to a point, if you read that series, you're going to have spoilers for the other series. That's really annoying. So yeah, I would love it if they were a little bit more obvious with that. But I do think I need to just do a quick Google search, just be like, is this an interconnected series before I commit to buying them? Because it hurts a little bit seeing them sitting on my shelf. And I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to get to you now.
Yeah, they need to be like really clear, like on the title, like on the cover. They should really put like from the world of whatever or
Yeah.
like something just like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like going back to like, my first point of like I don't want Goodreads to determine if I want to buy a book. Sometimes we don't want to look up something on the internet because sometimes we do want to just go to the bookstore or the library and browse and like pick up a book and be like, this looks cool and be able to buy it. But yeah, that kind of sucks if you have to do the extra research of like, wait, is this interconnected or is it? I also feel like some books are not obvious if they're even in a series, like not even interconnected, like a spin-off, but like there are some books that I've picked up and be like, this looks cool, not knowing that it's the second or third book in a series, and it's not only like you have to really flip into it. And even then it might not even be clear that it's like, oh, this is a part of a series, it's not the first book. Like we need to have them say like book 1, book 2, book 3 like on the front cover.
And I feel like it's not that hard. Just put like a cute little one at the very like on the spine or something that matches the font or whatever. That's so true. Even fantasy books, you kind of have to go into the also by this author to see if they're like in the same series.
Exactly.
I've done that. I've actually like multiple times bought like the third book or second book in a series without realizing that it was part of a series. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I'll find that a lot in like little free libraries because I'll go and walk around and I'll find a book. I'll be like, oh, this looks cool. And like, I really have to flip through. And a lot of the time they are like second and third books in the series. And that's why like no one's picked it up from the little free library yet because like no one can because they haven't read the first book. So yeah, that's gotten me quite a few times.
It's okay. Little like PSA, if anyone works in publishing, that would be amazing.
Yes, please.
All right, what is your next one?
Okay, this one's also about series. So on the topic of continuing series that I only feel excited about, I also want to stop taking these huge long breaks before continuing a series. I want to be more intentional of like actually finishing a series in a good amount of time. I don't know why I didn't used to do this. I think it's only after I started creating book content that I have started spreading out series. Like before I used to make YouTube videos, I used to just like, if I liked a series, I would just read them back to back to back without a break and I would just finish it all. But I think now with the nature of needing to make videos and needing to read like different types of books to make content, sometimes like you can't just binge a series unless, I don't know, I guess you could find a specific type of a reading vlog to do that. But I feel like most viewers, I think, want to see a variety of books in a reading vlog. So I feel like because of that, I've just gotten to this point where I'm used to like reading a book in the series and then waiting like 3 months before reading the next one. And I want to shorten that time to at least a month. I want to at least prioritize reading the next book in the next month so it's not so long of a break, because I found like in some series, I'm thinking about the Bone season right now, like I loved the first book so much, but I feel like I kept putting in like multiple months throughout each book that like every book I read in that series now, I feel more and more detached to the characters and I just don't feel emotionally connected to them anymore. And I still think the story is so cool and the world is so cool and I have fun reading them, but I feel like no emotional connection to them because like it's just my fault. It's just because I didn't read them quick enough. So I'm like still continuing to read the series, but I'm like, I feel like this would be such a better experience if I like didn't sabotage myself.
No, it's actually really, really hard. That is a really great goal, actually. I didn't even think of that one. I wish I could commit to that because I think it is, you have like this sense of, I don't know, like urgency to read as much like new things, like different things that, and get recs to people that are different and not be reading the same kind of boring, like the same thing every time because that's boring content or whatever. And I don't know why I think that, because personally, like say when I'm watching your videos, I love when you're continuing series, and the last vlog I watched was like you reading the first book, and now I can watch you reading the second book. Like I actually love that. So I don't know why in my mind it's a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's like this little mental block that I'm like, nope, I have to read
Yeah.
something new so I can talk about it and like let everyone know
Yeah.
like about this other book rather than the ones that everyone already knows about. Like, I don't know. It's a weird thing, but I definitely need to just like prioritize my series and actually read them and finish them in a good amount of time.
Yeah. I'm very guilty of leaving a long amount of time as well. I feel like it just kind of gets away from you. I feel like if you don't continue straight away, you're like, oh yeah, I'll do this next month. And then if you forget to put it on your TBR, or it just doesn't suit any of the prompts or whatever, it just gets pushed back another month. Do you know who is really good at actually continuing series? Like Larry and Mariana as well. They both
Yes.
just binge series, and I have so much respect for that. I am just like the dedication, and they're not even little series either. They could be like Mariana did the Mistborn series in, I swear, like 2 weeks, and then she went on to
That's
Way
wild.
of Kings, and I was
Yeah.
just sitting there going, how are you doing this?
Yeah,
Not
I think
even
I saw
can
her
do
go
that.
through like, yeah, she did Mistborn. I remember her going through Red Rising with like all
Yeah.
of them, not even the first trilogy, but like all like 6, like into the
Yeah.
phase 2. And yeah, now with the Stormlight Archive, I'm like, wow. Like it's making me want to just immerse myself in one
Yeah.
series as well. But I'm like, I don't know how I would make videos about that.
Yeah, we've got to like think outside the box. We'll just be like continuing series. I'm in the middle of part 1. Continuing series. I'm in the middle of part 2. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
Just like an entire channel dedicated to continuing
Yeah,
series, like every single week.
At this point, it would be. No, I think that's a really good goal. Wait, I should try to do that too.
Okay, what's your next one?
This one's a little bit random, and I feel like you'll relate to this, but reading comments on a viral video, specifically when your video goes viral about a different bookish opinion. Because I think I love reading my comments on all my videos, on all platforms, obviously. But as
yeah.
soon as I feel like it hits the point when you're getting majority for you page, or like majority of people who don't follow you commenting, rather than like your kind of community or new people who are joining your community, then it starts to get a little bit too intense, and it actually starts to play with your mental health a little bit, and makes you think, okay, why am I liking this book so much, or why didn't I like this book? Like, what's wrong with me? It's not deep. It's an opinion on a book, and yet you just end up spiraling down this rabbit hole. So I feel like consciously in the past few months, I've tried to stop looking at videos if they're starting to get over like 50k views. Then I'm like, okay, I'm getting a lot of comments that I really don't need to be reading right now. And I also filter words for comments, because I'm like, I don't want to be reading like awful comments. It's not needed. I think you can very kindly express your opinion, and if you disagree with somebody, that is totally okay, but you really don't need to be awful about it.
I know, that's the thing. Like, and certain fandoms are like way more intense than others. I mean, I know we've both been suffering through, I mean, mostly me, because it was me that made the comment, but about Brit and Sanderson's plain chip writing. That
Which I feel like you guys understood.
Which
You guys
I
got the
think
context.
if you actually listen, like, it's not even a negative opinion on his writing. It is just a matter of fact. He even describes his own writing as like a plain window. So he knows his writing is plain, and he does it on purpose. But yeah, if you don't know the context, we did post on Instagram and then also on my TikTok, like just a short clip with an excerpt from our Way of Kings deep dive where I called him a plain chip author, because his writing's
Which,
not
by the way,
super descriptive.
Can I just say that if he did have like super descriptive writing, I think Way of Kings would almost be like impossible to read, because with the amount of detail that's in that book, if you had conflicting writing where you had to like decode the messages of what was going on, I think I would give up. I would be like, this is way too much for me.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's necessary. But yeah, we short clipped that and posted it as like a short or reel, TikTok, whatever. And those obviously started going viral kind of everywhere on all platforms. And the amount of comments from, honestly, I'm sorry, but men that
Judging
just
us.
judging, immediately saying like, oh, just because it doesn't have like smut in it, that's why you don't like it, or like, oh, go back to your fairy, whatever. Like, so many just sexist comments and assumptions. Also, like, not that there's anything wrong with wanting to read smut, but also pointed to the probably the two readers that actually don't like reading smut. I was just like, why are so many people attacking me right now? And like people just calling you like dumb, people saying you don't have any like reading skills, like your literary comprehension is just like not there. It's like, why are you calling me dumb for making a comment about an author that isn't even a negative comment, but you just feel so super defensive about this book all of a sudden, and now you feel the need to attack me personally. Like, it's fine to disagree and put your opinions in the comments and have like discussion and debate on like why you like a book or why you don't like a book. I actually love seeing those. I love seeing different opinions and like talking back and forth about that. But it's like people just immediately get nasty, and it's like, just
so
scroll.
Defensive.
If you don't like it,
or even just
scroll.
Listen to the end of the video.
Yeah, keep listening, and then you'll realize that like you have nothing to disagree about.
I will say my favorite comments on that video are when people attacked you and then you were like, did you watch till the end of the video? And then they came back and was like, oh, I'm sorry. Didn't realize. My bad. Because like, thank you. You actually like put the time in. But yeah, especially that video, there was a lot of unnecessary comments. And I think it gets to a point where you do just have to like, it's hard because you get notified every time somebody comments. But like there's been videos in the past, especially on TikTok, where I've had to turn off the comments because it's ridiculous. It's literally about my book opinion. Like I remember when I first joined Book Talk and you were doing those yes, no to kind of popular books or whatever. And I would say yes to one book and no to one book. And people would be like, how on earth could you say no to this book but say yes to this crap and stuff? And they're like, I would never trust you and blah, blah, blah. And I remember that was like my first big video where I started to get a lot of backlash. And I was just like, this is a lot. So now I've kind of learnt my lesson from that, where I tune it out at some point because what can you do? Like people are going to keep commenting these awful stuff. So yeah, that's a big thing of mine going into 2026. And even if I do read those comments, trying to let them just wash over me and be like, okay, your opinion no reflection on me, doesn't matter. I'm going to move on because it's really easy to get dragged down by them.
Yeah, it's always like you want to like engage because you want to like come to a common ground. Like you kind of want to settle it, but then 99% of the time it doesn't settle, and like no one's going to change their minds, and it's just going to put everyone in a bad mood. So yeah, this is actually something I've been working through with my therapist. So yeah, definitely something we should leave in 2025.
Honestly, you need therapy for it though, because it's not like it sounds, me saying like I want to like forget about the comments, it sounds so simple and you're like, yeah, that's an obvious thing that you would do, but it's actually a really hard thing to do.
It is. And it sticks with you.
My gosh.
Like it just, even if you don't want to think about it, it's just like it sticks with you, and it's so hard to get rid of it.
Yep. And especially, it's hard. I feel like having someone to talk about it with who like understands it, like we're very lucky that we both can just be like, I got this. I've texted you a few times being like, so I got this comment. What do I do about it? Like, do I reply? Do I ignore it? Do I delete it? Like, you don't know what to do about it because you don't want to feel the fire, but you also want to give them context because usually their claims are very outlandish and have nothing backing them up, because usually at the end of the day, when especially like for example the Brandon Sanderson, when they were like, oh, go back to reading your smut, you don't understand high fantasy or something, you just don't appreciate good world building. It's like, well, like actually it's like my favorite thing to read about, but is it even worth it? I don't know, it's hard.
Usually I feel it's not worth it.
It really isn't. I feel like this space, like the podcast space, is like my safe space on social media at the moment. I feel so comfortable to just say whatever and like say my opinions, and people are usually okay.
Yeah, this is our cute little bubble. I love this
Yeah,
space.
yeah. Anyway, that's one of my goals.
I
Or
love
things
it.
rather I would leave behind. What's your next
Yep.
one?
Okay, so my next one is I want to read what I actually crave versus reading what I should. So I need to explain this one, I feel like. I feel like sometimes I do this thing where I feel guilty about having books on my TBR for a long time and not picking them up. And I want to stop feeling guilty about that because on one hand,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know. I probably see. I'm feeling guilty about it. I'm like talking myself into feeling guilty about it. It's like yes, maybe you should pick up those books that you put on your TBR a while ago, but maybe you're just not in the mood for that, or maybe that's not your season. Like, for example, when like in July, remember I was like in a real like literary fiction phase in June and
Yep.
July, and I was like, I want to pick up all of these like fictions, general fictions, lit fics. And I was craving all of those books. And then like now I'm really into my like fantasy zone and like I want to read all of these fantasies. And I tend to feel this pressure in certain months where I'm like, oh, I've read like 8 fantasies this month. I feel like I should read something else. Like
Yeah.
even to make my like monthly wrap up videos more diverse, like to add more genres into my like genre breakdown. It's like, oh, maybe I should pick up a thriller or maybe I should pick up a romance to like change things up. But like sometimes I'm just not in the mood for that at the time. And then I'll
Yeah.
just kind of force myself to pick it up again for content. Like a lot of this is for like making videos.
Yeah.
So I want to try and not pressure myself as much to do that, like to read for content or to read for guilt purposes on like, a book's been staring at me from my TBR car for a while. And I just want to just continue to read what I crave because chances are when you read what you crave, you're going to actually enjoy those books more at that time. And if you read what you don't crave, it could have been a really good book for you, but you might not enjoy it as much as you would have if you read it in a different mood. So that's a big one for me.
Yeah. I think also you, out of like anyone I know, are so incredibly good at like sticking to your TBRs. Like you
Yes.
follow your TBRs like religiously every single month. And it always astounds me because like I feel like I'm the biggest mood reader I know. I will very happily like be like, oh, there's a whole TBR that I haven't read one from and it's 1 week away from the end of the month. Let's pick up this book. Like, and then afterwards I'm like, oh, why did I do that? But yeah, it's kind of hard. I feel like you have a lot of lenience there. You totally could relax a little bit and like read what you want to read. And I feel like
Relax.
I feel like as well as a viewer, speaking as a viewer of yours, I love when you're in like little, I don't know, like eras, like little moods for different genres. Like, when you were in your literary fiction mood, and then when you're like, I feel like recently you've been in like a very high fantasy slash, I don't know, unique kind of different fantasy moods. And I've been really liking that because I've been getting a lot of recs from that. A lot of rocks from that. No, a lot of recs from that. But yeah, no, I think I just like watching you read whatever you're reading. So I feel like, yeah, you can chill out about that a little bit.
Okay, thanks. I'll try and relax.
All right. My one is letting reviews influence my rating after I have read the book and rated the book. Like, so again, this kind of goes back to like Goodreads, or I use Fable a lot. But when you go to rate the book, like you finish the book, you're like, yeah, this is a 4 stars or 4.5 stars. And then you see the comments being like, literally, what was this world building? I hated every second of it. There was no depth to our characters. This is a 2 stars. And then you're like, hang on, was there no depth to our characters? Like you start questioning things because you see other people's opinions. And I need to see their opinions and be like, yeah, okay, cool. Great that you like sucks for you that you didn't enjoy this book as much as I did, but I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to rate it a 4.25 or whatever. I think I need to start doing that more because I feel like I'm guilty of letting people's opinions influence my rating of it, even after I've already made that conscious decision of what I think of the book.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I feel like that's kind of why I rate books really quick. I'll read them, and even before I go on to like Goodreads or Fable to log it, I will write it in my note because I track all of my monthly reads in a note on my phone too. Like that's how I keep
Yeah.
track of what I read for my monthly wrap-ups. So I'll write it in there first, and then like when it's in there, I'm like, I put it in there, like I'm not going to change it now. And I
Yeah.
might, like if it really truly is internal reflection, because sometimes you do need to sit a little bit
Yeah.
longer with books. If I do change the rating myself, I will, but yeah, then I'll take a little bit of time to like log it onto Goodreads a lot of the time. Like I'll wait at least a few hours, let's say, before I log it
Yeah.
onto Goodreads, but I'll have it in my note for myself and I'll have it sitting there for a while. So yeah, that's a good one. It's like you just kind of have to accept like this is how I thought about a book. But yeah, I've kind of felt that too, like especially with popular books that like
Yeah.
you've maybe put a rating on and then you start seeing other people review it, discuss it, whatever, and then yeah, you start questioning like, "Ooh, did I think that too?" But then usually by that time it'll have been like months since you read it. And then it's like, "Well, I can't change my opinion now. It's been months. I don't like it's so far away. I'm
Yeah.
so far
Yeah.
detached from it that like I can't just reimagine my reading experience in a different way because this person is telling me that I should have felt this way." Like
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah.
interesting.
It's quite hard to like, yeah, keep your thought, like keep true to yourself when you're seeing so as when a book is really hyped up and like everyone's reading it. Yeah, to keep true to kind of your thoughts. And you're right. I feel like there are moments where, especially after books like say Alchemized, for example, I didn't know what to rate that book for like a good few days. I was just sitting on it being like, everyone else has rated this like a 5-6 star read and I haven't. Like this is really odd for me. And like there was so much I loved about it, but then there was some things I didn't love about it. Yeah. It was like that was a really hard one to rate. And I feel like, yeah, that did take a bit of time to kind of reflect upon. So you kind of just have to avoid looking at reviews and stuff, I feel like, in that time. I do at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, no, Alchemize is a good example because I was the same. I kept changing my rating. I was like, is it a
Yeah.
3.75? Is it a 4? Is it 4.25? Like I kept changing
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I was really trying to avoid alchemized content on social
Yeah.
media, which was very hard to do at the time because
Oh,
everyone was
so
reading and
hard.
talking about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, every time I saw Alchemize, I was like, okay, I don't want to listen to this. Like, no offense to the person who posted it, but like I want to let my own mind form
Yeah.
my own opinion. Yeah,
I
that's a good
remember
one.
during that time, I was like, when I would see people, especially like my mutuals, like friends on TikTok post about Alchemized, I didn't want to hear their thoughts, but I'd like their video and then move on because I was like, I still want to support you, but like I can't listen to this right now.
Yeah, yeah, quickly
I'm like,
like it to
great,
be like,
okay.
okay,
Yeah.
there's your like, love you, bye.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, no, I think it's yeah, a good one. I think that'll help my ratings in 2026 if I can manage to do that.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
Okay, my next one. This one's a big one. I've actually already started doing this, but I want to continue this energy into 2026. So I want to stop doing those stressful, timed 24-hour readathons. Because when I was first doing 24-hour readathons, I was going crazy. Like, and I feel like when you put that timer on, I think that's what gets you is that you have this timer on your phone and it's constantly ticking and it's really pressuring you to be like, you need to continue reading. And when you want to take a break to like eat or, whatever, like you just kind of like sense that ticking time like in the back of your mind and you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. So the way I've been doing 24-hour readathons now, or any sort of readathon, is like I will just pose it to myself and to everyone as just a cozy day of reading. And I think
Yeah.
honestly, they're just a lot more fun that way too. Like the pressure's off. You're just reading. You could read one book. You could read two books. You could read three books. If you're really feeling it, you could read more. But I
Yeah.
used to read like 5 or 6 books in a readathon and I like wouldn't sleep and I'm
Oh my
like,
God.
why did I do that? Like did I convince myself that that was fun? Probably, but yeah, I've been doing them more chill now where it's like I'll
Yeah.
read for the day and it's like if I read 2 books, that's fine. If I read 3 books and a novella, that's fine. But they're more just like cozy days to like celebrate doing what I love, which is reading, and I'll allow myself to have a good night's sleep And yeah, just get that like timer out of here. Like we don't need that. We know I started at 9 a.m. so we can stop tomorrow at 9 a.m. Like we know. Like
Yeah,
we don't
I
need to
love
have a
that.
timer going on all day. So yeah, just a different way of approaching these like readathon type videos, which I do love doing. So I want to continue doing them because I do enjoy them, but just putting the stress, like taking the stress out of it.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's such a good idea. Yeah, literally do not do 24-hour readathons for that reason. I have done like two, and they like the most stressful periods because I felt so like with that timer, I felt so guilty. If I wanted to go outside for a walk, if it was a really beautiful day, I'd be like, great, got to put the audiobook on. And then like if I don't know, I just needed to go to the shops to get some food, I'd be like crap, I'm wasting time right now. And it's not meant to be like that. It's like so stressful for no reason. So I think that's a really good idea. I can't wait to do that over the summer a bit, like to do some chill 24-hour readathons.
Yes.
And it also like depends on the books you're reading. I always forget that when I only read like two books because they were both like 800 pages or something. I'm like, damn, I only got two books read. And then, that's still amazing, the fact that you finished those books. Like,
Yeah, no, that's so good.
but like in my head, it's like about the number. So yeah, I think that's a really good goal.
Yeah, we want to be chill. Chill 2026.
Yes.
Okay, what's your next one?
My next one is putting off reading a book because it is intimidating. I feel like I've learnt my lesson, especially in the past few months, specifically with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and The Will of the Many and Way of Kings. And like, there's so many really intimidating books to me that aren't necessarily like Addie LaRue isn't a big book, but I just feel like it had this, I don't know, have this like hold on me where I was like, this is a really scary book for me to read. So I think I need to stop viewing books as like easy to read, or this is a really like big commitment, or I'm going to have to use my brain a lot in this one. I don't want to read it yet because I need to be switched on for this. Like, I think I need to stop, kind of judging books before I start reading them. Because like even with Words of Radiance at the moment, this is so much easier than I kind of anticipated it to be. And even with Warbreaker, I don't know whether that's just because I'm getting used to Brandon Sanderson's writing more, or the fact that I just kind of went into it without thinking too much. But I feel like a lot of the time, these like incredibly intimidating books are usually the ones that I end up rating a 5 stars. So I need to stop that going into 2026.
Yeah. What are some of like the most intimidating books on your current TBR?
I've actually gone through a lot of them. I can just like turn around. Hang on. Well, obviously all of Brandon Sanderson's, but I've actually gotten through a lot of them at the moment. To be honest, there aren't that many books on my TBR. One that has been intimidating me for ages though is Crescent City 3. I still have not read the third Crescent City. So maybe I should that can be one of my one of the books I'm going to read in 2026 because I really don't think I'm going to get to it by the end of this year. I thought I was, but there are other really big books on my TBR that I'd rather. Because with that one, it's hard though because I didn't love the Crescent City series as a whole. I really liked the first book. I hated the second book. I was so annoyed at that book. There were aspects I liked, but on a whole, I was just irritated the entire time. So I feel like that has just really, I don't know, hindered my experience. And, I don't know whether I want to go into that one anytime soon, but, maybe I'll love it. Maybe it'll help follow that theme of intimidating books that I put off and then I end up loving. That would be great. That would be a nice surprise.
Maybe. I mean, maybe because you have lower expectations, maybe you will end up enjoying it because maybe it'll maybe it won't be your favorite book in the world, but maybe it'll at least be better than what you expected.
Yeah, better than the second one. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I feel like you've definitely been helping me with that throughout this year because a lot of the books that I was intimidated by, you had already read and you kind of it's worth it. It's not that scary.
Yeah. Having a friend to go through it with you too, I think helps. Like the fact that we both read The Way of Kings together, that was good. I think we both needed that to just push us to now it's the time.
And I feel like now with Will of the Many, for example, there were so many confusing elements about the will system, and I could just like shoot you a message and be like, am I understanding this right? Like, is this what's actually happening right now? That also helped me a lot, I think.
Yeah, you're having a little guide.
Yeah, exactly. What's your next one?
Okay, so this one's another kind of TBR one. So on the topic of big TBRs, I feel like I've gone to the other side. Like I've gone too far about feeling guilty about buying books because
Yep.
I think I did have this big goal this year of like, I'm going to read my physical TBR down to 35 books. And you know what? I've done a good job. I've read, I think I started at like 101, like over 100 books at the beginning of the year on my TBR. And I've read down to 45, either read down or like donated.
Yep.
But I've done a good job with it. But still,
Yeah.
every time I buy a book or add anything to my TBR, I feel guilty about it. And I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. I should continue to read my TBR until it's down to 35 before I add more. And I'm like, you know what? I feel like I need to just like take a breather, take a chill pill, relax. Again, I just need to relax.
Yeah.
Like all of my goals are pretty much just like, Jamie, you need to relax. It's reading. And I just need to like accept the fact that I'm going to get excited about books. I'm going to go book shopping sometimes. I'm going to pre-order books I'm excited about. And
Yeah.
I'm going to add them to my TBR. And they might not even sit on my TBR for a while because a lot of the time, a lot of those books I do buy are ones I want to read immediately. Like, again, I am intentionally buying books
Yeah.
that, like, I want to get to. So, like, yeah, I just want to stop feeling guilty about buying books. Because, like, I'm also not doing, like, gigantic book hauls that are, like, 20 books, you know? It's like I can go to the
Yeah.
bookstore and pick up, like, 5 books even and not feel guilty about it because, like, how many books do I read a month? Like, a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be fine. They're going to get read. So, yeah.
That is a hard one though, because when you do, like, by the way, down to 45 is crazy. Like, that's
Yes.
a massive
Yeah.
effort. But I feel like I struggle with a similar thing. I'm all okay about going to the store and getting one book that, you know, maybe is the next one in the series or a new release or something like that. But when it comes to like going to the store and like buying like 4 or 5 books, I can't physically do it. I'm like, I don't know. I feel so, I don't know whether I feel bad. I don't know what it is, but I feel like because also I genuinely just don't have space. Like I don't have a lot of space on my bookshelves. And unfortunately, I live in a little apartment in the middle of the city. So I don't have a lot of space to expand my bookshelves, which is probably an unhaul is needed. But yeah, it's kind of like weirdly hard to, I feel like you go from, oh my God, I get to buy as many books as I want now that I'm like doing content creation for books, you know, like I have more reason to buy books to,
Yep.
I really need to like put a ban on myself. It's kind of crazy.
I kind of want to leave book buying bans in general. I want to leave those in 2025.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to feel that like, oh, I can't buy a book right now because I have too many.
Yeah.
You have to just find a balance, you know? Like, don't
Yeah.
go crazy and like buy so many books at once that you know you're not going to get to. But at the same time, like, don't feel bad if you want to pick up a book.
Yeah.
Because I felt that a lot
especially-
this year.
Yeah. I remember like one time you were telling us, I think it was like on the podcast. I can't remember if it was a pre-chat before we started the podcast or in the podcast.
yeah.
But when you went on your little trip a little while ago and you went to like an independent
yeah.
bookstore and you were like, yeah, I want to buy a book. But like I've had that experience so many times as well. And you're like, you know, but if you're at especially a little independent bookstore, like it's so cool to support them, to buy a few books. Like I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I remember,
definitely.
feeling guilty in that moment. I was like, oh, I shouldn't be buying a book. But then at the same time, I was like, but I want to support them. So
Yeah.
it's like, why am I feeling guilty? Why? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to read it. I think also the hard thing is too is like, I mean, it's not hard. Like, we are very lucky. But like the fact that we receive ARCs is a big
Yeah.
one because it's like, even if I don't buy books, my TBR is still growing because we are receiving ARCs. And like, I'm not complaining about that at all. Like, so like incredibly
yeah.
lucky and grateful to be receiving ARCs, but it's like you can't not grow your TBR month to month because you will be receiving books, and that is a wonderful thing. But even if you are on like a book buying ban, your TBR is still slowly growing month to month. So yeah, that's just something tricky to navigate as well. And I have been trying to be more selective with the arcs I receive, because sometimes you can like opt in or out. Sometimes honestly they just send them to you. Like a lot of the times I've just gotten book mail and I'm like, I didn't ask for this. Which again,
100%.
not complaining. But yeah, I'm just trying to be more like if I do have a choice, I'm trying to really like if someone offers me a book, I'm really trying to be like, realistically, will I actually read this? And if I don't receive this arc, I can just go out and buy it when it's out. Like I'm trying to be more like discerning on saying yes or no to arcs. So that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, it does kind of get hard in that sense. And of course, it's always as well, I feel like book releases are always like put in this very specific part, like parts of the year. There's always, I remember, I think it was May, I want to say, I got sent so many arcs, and so many of them were like my like books I was so excited to read. And I remember being like so happily overwhelmed, I guess. I feel like is a good way to describe it. But I just didn't buy books for like months because I, you know, and I feel like I didn't need to. But then when a book will come out that like, yeah, it's a little bit of, I feel like just the back of your mind playing tricks on you, to be honest.
Yep.
And just weighing up your options and trying to not overconsume as well. That's another big thing I'm very conscious about. I don't want to be buying all these books if I'm not going to be reading them like within the next few months. I don't want to do that. So yeah, this is why I'm trying to get all my friends into reading, because then I'm like, oh, if I buy this book and like, you know, that's the other thing I feel bad for when the book's only read once. I'm like, then you just sit on my shelf. So I want to be like, you know, if I read this book and like maybe I don't love it, I can give it to you and you can read it or something like that. That's another thing. So I'm like trying to get my friends to reading more. I realize though not a lot of people read as much as us. So
yes, we do read kind of like, I feel like an abnormal amount, kind of. But yeah, I've been doing the same thing. Like when I go to my in-person book club meets, I've been trying to like just bring books, be like, put them on the table, be like, okay, take these. So
that's so
yeah,
cute.
I've been doing that too. It's a good way to.
Good to be part of Jamie's book club.
Yeah. Yep. Give back.
All right. The last one for this video is sticking to my familiar authors. Like I really want to leave that behind in 2025 and start branching out to maybe lesser known authors, just authors I haven't read before. I feel like I've definitely been doing that more in the second half of the year, like consciously trying to read books outside my comfort zone. But I feel like just when we talk about wanting something different with our romantasy books and something, you know, that we haven't read before, I feel like a really great way to do that is by branching out to new authors and reading fantasy books by authors you haven't read before or something like that. So yeah, I would really like to try and just branch out to some, I don't know, different authors. I've also been loving like different, very, very niche, but for example, the City of Brass series, I loved that because it played on like a lot of Egyptian mythology, but also we had a little bit of like Middle Eastern influences and everything like that. And I feel like a lot of the books I've read in the past don't have that. Like that was a really unique element to that book. So I feel like by branching out into that series, I got this whole new experience, which I really, really enjoyed. And I think the only way to do that is by really getting into some diverse kind of authors. So yeah, that's a big goal of mine.
Yeah, kind of like fantasies that are based in different cultures or different types of mythology. Like, I love that so much.
Yeah, and it's definitely, I feel like I used to always love Greek mythology. Like I still do love a fantasy influenced by Greek mythology. But even now that's becoming very done. Like I feel like if there's going to be one mythology that influences a fantasy system, it's usually going to be like Greek or Roman mythology. So yeah, by branching out into a little bit, you know, different and it also gives you a little bit of an understanding of like different religions or just, I don't know, just more about different cultures. So yeah, I feel like just by getting, you just kind of get a little bit of education thrown in there as well, which is really nice. And it also inspires me to research a bit about them. Yeah,
I know we both read Dawn of the Firebird by Sarah McGill Rana, which kind of I think fits into this. Like it had so much lore and mythology that was, you know,
Yeah.
from a different culture that we hadn't really read too much about. We'll talk about that more in a future episode, maybe. Hint, hint. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's a good
that
one.
was, yeah, no, and it's really beautiful to read different kind of, I feel like even the writing style is very different for every kind of, like when you're basing it off a different culture, it usually, I don't know why, but I feel like the writing style usually reflects that as well. I've really been enjoying that, branching out into some different kind of fantasies because, yeah, after a while, the typical fairy with like or elves or something, like I love fairies, don't get me wrong, I will always be happy to
Yeah.
read about fairies, but after a while it does start to get a little bit repetitive, so it's nice to have something a little bit different.
You know what I love about different types of fantasies too, which is it's a little bit random, but like the descriptions of food in those.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love them. Like just seeing different types of food, even if they're like no matter like sometimes they're based on obviously like real life food and sometimes they're honestly just
yeah,
fantasy food. Like yeah, I can't think of an example, but just descriptions of food from different cultures and like being able to
yeah,
kind of like imagine those and like imagine the smell that's like in the air.
yeah.
It just adds a whole other like level of immersion into it. I really enjoy that.
Even like things like ceremonies, like in one of the books I read recently, there was like a wedding ceremony and it was based off quite traditional, like for that culture. And that was really interesting to me because, you know, just all these like parts of people's cultures that you don't think about, like, yeah, like the food, you really don't know
Yeah.
about. And just reading it and being immersed in it, like through the eyes of a different character is really fun. Like it's a really fun way of learning.
Yeah. No, I love
So
that. I love
yeah,
all of that.
it's a
That's a
big
good
one.
one. All right. So, yeah, those are, I guess, it's a good list of things that we want to leave in
Yeah.
2025. If you guys have any other like bookish things, habits, whatever that you want to leave and, you know, leave behind as you move forward into the new year, let us know in the comments. Would love to hear some of what you guys think.
Yeah.
But if you guys are still here, thank you for listening wherever you are in the world or whatever time zone you're in.
Until next time, stay comfy and keep reading.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on socials for more bookish content.
Bye. See you next time.